So leave out of it.
Zach.
What, Karen?
I'm pregnant.
All right, Sistas fans, this is the video you've been waiting for. Yeah, I know you probably want to like Jeremy. This video is kind of half of what we've been waiting for. I want to know, who do you think is the father, Zach or Aaron? Well, this video itself is pretty much kind of a part 2 to the video I did several days ago about, will Karen suffer from a miscarriage? And let me just say, I really wished I had rewatched episode 1 of Sisters, at least 2 or 3 scenes from that episode prior to doing that video, because this video itself, I think I might title it something along the lines of, is Karen really pregnant, you know? But I feel like the pilot episode had 1 or 2 scenes that are extremely relevant to the topic at hand. Like I said, a video about who's the baby daddy, that's coming out very shortly. I might record it later today. That video might be uploaded along the same time as this one. Trust me, if I did a full-on video about the pregnancy thing, like, is Karen really pregnant? Who's the baby daddy? Will she have a miscarriage? That kind of stuff. That would have been like a 40-minute video, and I'm not going to say that people wouldn't want to see that video, but I just know for me it would be smaller, easier in smaller chunks. But before moving further in this particular video, take a moment to hit the like button to show you like the topic. Even though if you hate Karen, that pretty much sucks, but hit the thumbs up button to show you like the video. Hit subscribe as we close in on 200,000 subscribers. Hit that bell icon and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post content on the channel. And follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. So I want you to get back in your time machine, or maybe not time machine. Go to BET Plus, because season 1 and season 2 are up there. Every single episode of the show from those 2 seasons are available to watch. October 23rd, 2019, when Sisters first dropped. Our first scene of Karen is she's in the waiting room of the doctor's office. She's on the phone with Danny. A little while later, she gets called to the back, and she's in there for her quote-unquote annual physical. That's what she tells Danny. But when she gets to the back, the doctor actually says, oh, you were here because Karen says she's nervous. Oh, wait, you're here for the results of your test, right? Yeah. Well, you know, I could have just called you. Well, I just want to come in person. Turns out she's negative for an STD. She actually took a test to see if she caught anything from Zach, and she's negative. And she pretty much explains to the doctor when she asks about it, Zach, or she says her partner, is the only person she's had unprotected sex with, which I did another quick video on. Rico from season 1, episode 8, Old Faithful. There's no way he could be the father of this child, because anytime Karen called Rico up, because that's pretty much her Old Faithful. Whenever Zach isn't acting right, she would call up Rico. They would hook up. It would be protected sex. Heck, when he first came over, first thing she did before he even closed the door, pull out a condom. So we go on to the conversation. Zach being unfaithful, and the exam was something that she went, to get the results of, because she was nervous about catching an STD. Now, the doctor's trying to make small talk. It's like, it's a shame, because the last time you were in here, you were talking about how much you love each other, how things are going well. And she's like, hey, not to be rude, but I'd rather not talk about it. Oh, yeah, I understand. So, she's getting an exam, and, well, it was a bad breakup between her and Zach. And couple things here. I had completely forgotten that in episode 1, it was mentioned that Karen is 36 years old. Seriously, I forgot about it. Now I remember mentioning it in a video a week or 2 ago. I'm like, what could Karen be so, what could she be talking about with Zach? Why is she upset? Why is she crying? And I'm like, I said one of the things, maybe she's talking about her biological clock because she's older. But I forgot. Yeah, she's 36. But in real life, I think she's like 1 or 2 years younger than I am. So I'm like, well, actually, I think she's like, 25, 26 in real life. So I'm like, damn. So she's 36 years old. And I know you're probably wondering, Jeremy, duh. Again, this is freaking episode 1. I don't remember every single detail. But, well, okay, I will admit, if it was the haves and the have-nots, I remember all the details about that episode 1. But think about it this way. At least the haves and the have-nots spread out. Sisters just has been ongoing for so long. It's only been, what, a little over 2 years, but it feels like we've gotten a whole lot of episodes, but not a lot of stuff has happened. So, regardless, the doctor mentions that, since you're getting up in age, there are alternatives if you want to have children. For example, freezing your eggs, because, and watch out for this part now, after the age of 35, all pregnancies are geriatric, aka that means there's a higher risk for women who are over the age of 35 when it comes to having pregnancy. But, since it's taking a while for the doctor to look down there, Karen's like, is everything okay? Oh, no. Everything's fine down here. I'm just talking, since you're at a certain age, these conversations need to happen. For example, mammograms and whatnot. And Karen's kind of rolling her eyes like, oh, but yeah, this is something that's standard procedure. Now, I got to give props to Tyler Perry. Now, if he's looking all the way back to episode 1, the first scene with Karen, and these things are relevant now, such as the possibility of her getting pregnant, but then experiencing complications, this is something we need to keep in mind if she is indeed pregnant. Now, later on in the episode, and I'm only going to talk about this briefly, and I forgot about this because I think I've been one of the people that said, yeah, one of the first scenes Karen had in the series was being at the doctor, were being tested negative for an STD. Zach didn't give her one. Turns out he actually did, but this is pre-episode 1. So Karen's in her closet getting some clothes, probably getting ready to go to work. Zach comes in. I think this is the first scene we have with Zach. Zach is sorry, and he's like, hey, I don't know, something just came over me. He doesn't really know why he cheats on her. But basically, she kind of runs down, is like, oh, yeah, baby, I'm sorry. You brought me flowers. You fixed me dinner, this and that. Basically going over every time this has happened before, and Zach has tried to make up to her, and she pretty much says, by the time I get back from work, all your stuff better be packed and gone. And this is episode 1, mind you. But basically, she says, you've done stuff to me. What about that time you gave me something once that I needed antibiotics to get rid of? So yes, Zach did give her an STD at one point that she had to get medication for. So yes, that is actually true. And I mentioned that several times, maybe not the STD part, but the fact that Zach was trash. And it's something when you look at season 1, because of the fact that even though the main characters are the sisters, it's interesting that Zach is one of the few, if only, characters who've had the most development since season 1. Yes, Zach was trash. He was shit. But for some reason, him and Karen kept getting back together. So when you look at Karen now, and I'm not trying to make this video to attack Karen, but when you look at Karen now, it's like, well, you talk about you did this for Zach, you did this for Zach, you did that for Zach. When you look at season 1 alone, and keep in mind, these two apparently had a lot of rough patches prior to episode 1, why the hell did you still keep them around? When you're the one who moved on to Aaron, you said plenty of times that you're moving on, Zach needs to move out. I didn't really see the need of you getting closure then. Zach was the one trying to hold on to something, but you're the one who was adamant about moving forward. Now, all of a sudden, it seems like you're flip roles for some reason, and I don't know. But regardless, getting back to the pregnancy thing, do I think Karen is pregnant? Now, let me look at it this way. There are those who say, ain't no way Karen's pregnant. She's lying. Look at the fact that, she's been smoking and, drinking and everything. Now, I'm not an expert in this. I've had conversations with people I know in the medical field, with my mom. I've learned more about pregnancies in the last few days since the last episode than I've ever learned in my lifetime. But, talking about miscarriages and whatnot. But isn't it safe to assume that Karen just didn't know she was pregnant? Because, when it comes to miscarriages and whatnot, from my research, more often than not, these premature babies that, sometimes come out randomly in the toilet, the woman just didn't know she was pregnant. And I'm just thinking, with the Karen situation, the only reason she went to go get a pregnancy test, look, we know when she ran off in the last episode, remember, she went to the law firm, she went back to the salon, she basically brushed off Aaron, and then out of nowhere, she just up and left. I don't know if she went to the doctor's office to get a pregnancy test, or she went to the nearest grocery store to just get a pregnancy stick. I don't know. But regardless, we know that she went somewhere to see if she was pregnant. Why do I feel like the only reason she did this was to see if there was any hope left, because remember, this is after she had left the law firm. She had overheard some of the Fatima and Andy conversation, and her best friend told her that Zach has moved on, they're in love, there's nothing you can do but move on yourself. It just seemed like a desperation ploy for her to get some sort of evidence that there is a string, even if it's thin as a piece of yarn, just a thin string between her and Zach. She doesn't want to sever the line completely like an umbilical cord, pun intended. And in order to find out she's pregnant, we hopefully will get some details in the next episode. Like, if it is possible that is the conversation going to be brought up by Zach, like, hey, what about you and old boy? Did you and the preacher have sex or anything like that? I just want to know if that's brought up, because that's important to the conversation here. Do you think that she found out she's pregnant and then she's going to assume that it's Zach's because she wants it to be Zach's baby, without taking into consideration, I did sleep with Aaron that one time unprotected? We don't know if it was unprotected or not, but I'm just saying that I don't think Karen's lying. In my opinion, I don't think that she's lying, because based on what I mentioned at the beginning of the video about her being over the age of 35, and if she gets pregnant, there's a risk of complication. There's a higher risk of pregnancy related complications. And combine that with the video I did about miscarriage and, the fact she's going through a lot of stress and whatnot, I would not be surprised if she has a miscarriage, because she's over the age of 35. She's dealing with a hell of a lot even before she found out she's pregnant. Now, there are those who, and I'm not trying to attack Karen fans, but those who are like, Team Karen and whatnot, and they're like, you know what, see, she's been pregnant. That explains why she's been acting the way she's been acting lately. I'm going to be honest here. I'm not saying pregnancy does not affect hormones and things like that. I am not saying that at all. But when you look at how Karen's been acting lately, this seems more like the Karen we know, but being written as character assassination by Tyler Perry, because of the fact that, was she pregnant when she was in the grocery store with the girls and found out about, Zach and Fatima being a thing? I mean, her and Aaron didn't have sex until season 3. I mean, think of it this way. Her and Zach hooked up, what was it, less than 24 hours ago at the salon before, Fatima and Zach were in the grocery store. Or was that the same day? I could be wrong, but it could have been the same day. I can't remember. Well, actually, yeah, I think it was the same day, because that's when they were at Andy's apartment and Andy said she was engaged, and Karen's like, well, you know what? Never mind. Because Karen was the main naysayer of Gary and Andy, but in this situation, she was just, lost in thought because her and Zach banged a few hours earlier. So it was like, you know what? I'm going to just shut my mouth, and Andy, you do what you want. Because she was like, I think I want to give Zach another chance. But then she found out about her, Zach and Fatima. So and a lot of people have been pointing out, Jeremy, when Zach and Karen were in the office banging, I don't think Zach finished because Aaron interrupted. So even though they probably had unprotected sex, no doubt, I don't think it came to a climax. So I don't think Zach, made her pregnant. And even if by some chance he did explode inside of her and she got pregnant as a result, she's been acting like a desperate bitch less than 48 hours after they had sex. The fact, I can't believe he didn't say my name. This was Karen as you could believe Karen being, she was acting like Karen even if she wasn't pregnant. So something tells me that this is definitely Aaron's baby, because aside from the office fuck session, you have her and Aaron having sex for the very first time, but then in the middle of the night he just runs out. But then he later reveals that, because remember at the time that Gary was like, I gotta go somewhere, I gotta go to the gym or whatever. And then you have Aaron running off, and look, we've been theorizing, wait, are Aaron and Gary doing something behind, their, Karen and Andy's backs we don't know about? Are they secretly lovers? But this turned out not to be the case. But regardless, we later found out from Aaron that the reason he ran out was because he didn't feel like Karen was giving it her all, because he could vaguely hear her saying Zach and whatnot. So that was the reason he up and left, not to mention guilt because, you know, hey, I'm not supposed to be having sex without being married. So that was the reason he left, but they still had sex nonetheless. So I definitely feel like people need to keep that into the timetable frame here. Now, in the promo, we see her with 2 pregnancy tests. I got it wrong. I thought it was just the one, like, white and purple stick. But it turns out it's 2. So maybe, you know, there's like a store or pharmacy around the corner that Zach says, hey, we need to get these. Maybe they order some on DoorDash or something like that. Hey, I need a pickup, get a couple pregnancy tests down here. She goes to the bathroom and they come out positive and whatnot. But I really think that Karen is pregnant. Look, it's bad enough she's been chasing after Zach for so long this season and acting the way she's been acting. It would really suck. Not to mention, think of it this way, Helen, I believe is the name of the character from season 1, who Zach hooked up with once because, like, Karen kicked him out. He wasn't staying with Danny at the time, so he just went to, like, a halfway house. And I think, you know, Helen's family owns it or something, and her and Zach hooked up. And remember, this, again, was a co-worker from the, dang, I lost my train of thought. What do you call it? The airport. I couldn't think of the word for some reason. Airport. And, you know, she found out that she thought her and Zach were a thing, but Zach was pretty much, hey, it was just a one and done kind of one night stand. Then she lied about being pregnant, which messed up Zach and Karen when Karen was actually getting back together with Zach, but then she found out about it. So it would just really stink if Tyler recycled that tired story from season 1. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Karen is actually pregnant. I think she is really pregnant. The whole smoking, drinking thing, I don't think she knew she was pregnant. Not to mention the fact that, like I said, I really feel the only reason she went to check to see if she was pregnant was simply due to the fact that she was desperate to find any way to keep Zach around, or at least be connected to Zach, because everybody around her, her best friend, Zach himself, everybody else, look, he's moved on, he's happy, he's in love. No, I want Zach. And then she finds out she's pregnant. And that's going to lead into the next video I do, which, again, I don't know the upload order, will be like, who is the father of the child? So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think Karen is really pregnant? Do you think Karen is lying about being pregnant? Who do you think the baby daddy is? Do you remember episode 1, the pilot, where it was mentioned by the doctor that women over the age of 35 have a higher risk of pregnancy complications, and as a result, even if Karen is pregnant, do you think there will be a miscarriage or there will be some complications upon the baby's birth? So thanks so much for tuning in. This was definitely an in-depth video. We are closing in on the Karen pregnancy chapter of the story. I think I have one more video to do, and that's the baby daddy. Is it Aaron or is it Zach? Which, to be honest, I kind of answered that question already in this particular video. So thanks so much for tuning in. Like and subscribe. If you want to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal or Cash App. And with that being said, I will talk to you later.